Hello, welcome to the fifth panel for 30 Days 30 Ways UK. This is our last one. This is the last time we'll be having a panel for this year. September is Preparedness Month. Just to recap on the last week, we had on Saturday we had a disaster movie night, which went well, and the Emergency Planning Society movie night was Flood, the 2007 one, with Robert Carlyle. And if you were watching Twitter, there was quite a lot of chat on there around the accuracy of the film, which was quite entertaining to watch. So if you want to go back on that, have a look at that on Twitter. I did have a few problems with this panel. The first part of the recording failed, so I've had to re-record it again with people involved. I did ask in the original one about their best movies, which came up as Armageddon as one of the favourite ones, and said that he liked The Guardian, which starred Kevin Costner, but it's all about lifeguards, which was a little bit not a disaster movie, but it sort of showed you the insights of the lifeguard. So we have got a good panel this time. We're talking more about volunteering, and you'll see that as we go through. Earlier this week we talked about medicines and medicines checks, and just going through your cupboards and making sure that are in date. You'll be surprised, a bit like food, some of the medicines, they do go out of date quickly, and we talked about how to dispose of them correctly by returning them to the pharmacy. We then went on to talk about winter driving, and 4x4 clubs up and down the country shared best practice about what to do when you can check your cars, making sure that you've got sufficient air in your tyres to carry a grab bag for your car, which may include a shovel, bottles of water. We then went out of space and talked about space risk. 2 days we're talking about volunteering and the Hidden Heroes Day. Okay, now one of the days we discussed was volunteering. Volunteering is really important, and there's so many voluntary organisations across the UK that help out with emergency response and preparedness. So, and I think local authorities and LRFs up and down the country will not be able to work without the great support that they get from the voluntary sector. So we're going to hear two people talk about the voluntary sector. The first one's going to be Tim Hyde. He's from React. Now, welcome, Tim. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Hi.
You're going to talk a little bit about what React is. So over to you, Tim. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Yep, so I'm Tim Hyde. I'm the regional lead for the East Midlands and East of England for React Disaster Response. We're an organisation that started to develop really around 2019 in the response to COVID, and we have a great track record of responding internationally to Nepal, Sierra Leone, most recently Turkey, and now Morocco, and Caribbean hurricanes, Indonesian tsunamis, that kind of thing. And we thought it would be a wonderful idea if we repurpose the skills that we've hard earned in those kind of areas and in our professional backgrounds, which are mainly military, blue light services and NHS medical, to help the people in the UK as well. And thankfully we don't have huge natural disasters like they do in other parts of the world, but nevertheless people are in need, so that's our effort now. So we concentrate on incident management, capacity building, response and resilience. So for example, we can respond to communities to warn and inform, and really our place in the UK is to act as force multipliers to add to the great effort of organisations like the British Red Cross, 4x4 groups, and all of the other great organisations that there are which are out there to help people, and we will literally help anybody anytime. So very briefly, what do I get out of doing this? I've got a background in the emergency services myself, and when I retired, I was lucky enough to retire quite early, and I found that after about a year there was just a little bit of something missing from my life. So I volunteered with React, and it gives me a real sense of purpose and achievement. And I feel like I've got a group of people that I really, really belong to, and I find a strong affinity with. It's boosted my self-esteem. It's benefited my mental health, gives me something to concentrate on, something to feel really good about. It's a great stress reliever. It keeps me active and fit as well. I've learned lots of new skills. You know, I thought at the age that I was when I retired, I wouldn't really learn anything else, but I've learned a fabulous amount of stuff from some great, generous people. I've also been able to share the skills that I've had, that of course the public have invested in over the years. And I've met lots and lots of new friends and created lots of shared experiences with them. So please have a look at React Disaster Response. But even if that isn't for you, I'm absolutely confident that there is a charitable organisation that will allow anybody in the country to volunteer. You know, I'm aware of organisations, for example, scuba diving for people with disabilities. There is something for everybody. So yeah, I'd implore you, have a go, give it a go. And if it's not for you, move on to the next one. Nobody will feel ill of you. But that's it. Give it a go and do good stuff. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you very much. And I know where you're coming from, where you say to volunteer and it gives you a sense of purpose. And I think we discussed on, I think it was day 19, about mental health awareness. And one of the things to sort of improving your mental health is going out there, meeting new people, volunteering for someone, because it will do a lot of good. And I know I used to volunteer for Neighbour Watch, and just getting out and meeting your neighbours. It's so worthwhile. So yeah, encourage people to do that. Thank you very much, Tim. And I know when you mentioned about what skills you have and the training that people can just pick up by volunteering for an organisation, because you do lots and lots of training, and even that I think we discussed it within my team in Northamptonshire about just going into a reception centre and sitting down with people and talking, and that's a skill. So you know, you don't have to have the paramedic background or anything like that. It's just another skill of talking. So yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you, Joanna. So the Voluntary and Community Sector Emergencies Partnership, VCSEP, are a cross-sector partnership dedicated to maximising the contribution of the VCS in emergencies. Our network consists of 200 formal partners and over 500 organizations engaging in the space that we create. Some of our valued partners are already on today's call, like the likes of React, Communities Prepared, colleagues from Government Resilience team. What we do is to create the space to make it what it is. And our work really focuses on adding value through the following areas. One, create the trusted connections, building the capabilities, and then gathering and sharing actionable insights. Now, we have various activities that we kind of do as VCSEP with our partners. We have a VCSEP network call that takes place every month for all the senior organization leads, the CEOs, and so on. And in June and September, we're focused on the UK health and security agencies work. And we looked at adverse weathers and we looked at health plans. And then we're using those insights from kind of previous years to better prepare ourselves to what might we need to respond this year. And the partners were really kind of extremely engaged on the call, and we have kind of taken the advice and really worked on trying to understand how this information can cascade to communities to be shared more widely. And again, the focus here is not just to keep the insights, but make that actionable insights in order to make a difference at the community level. What appears to be universal interest and focus on adverse weather preparedness is kind of complemented and connected to the adjacent interest that needs to focus on climate adaptation and climate change. The former being the wave of emergencies that we see, and the latter being the kind of the rising tide and impact of the abilities to better prepare, respond, and recover. So this is not just at the UK context, it's a kind of a bigger global awareness level here that needs to kind of be addressed. In comparison to last year, we kind of see more interest and time dedicated to things like heatwave. So including the 30 Days, 30 Ways campaigns, I think with the partnership, they really welcome this and the way in which communities have continued to focus energy and capacity in this year to prepare better. This year, we were lucky not to have the experience what we did last year in terms of high temperatures, but we would have been better prepared, in my view, if we had. And I think that in itself is a shift, not only on mindset, but how the VCS and the third sector within the emergency space are actually adapting and adopting to those changes. And it's a point of realization that more work needs to be done. And what my previous colleagues have mentioned, the focus and investment on volunteering, and more importantly, just focusing on how we can work collectively much better. Also, evidence and reports from some of our partners like Volunteering Matters and CVO and NAVCA point to the increased time being given to volunteering post-COVID, but with greater proportion of that time now shifting to informal volunteering. So we need to recognize there's a shift in the word volunteering and how the landscape has actually changed pre-COVID, post-COVID, and now what colleagues addressed earlier with regards to volunteer fatigue and the cost of living. Now, VCS organization need to adapt to these changes in the face of volunteering and those working within emergency preparedness, response, recovery as well. And so we need to keep co-producing and innovating to hold the attention of volunteers and motivate them to support their communities in other maybe informal, in more kind of informal roles, and to build preparedness and resilience as well as responding. And this was touched upon the key word is spontaneous volunteering. So I think this is just more of a question to all the partners and colleagues here on the call. What role might local, regional, or national volunteer passport schemes play now? Is this something that we really need to start addressing? And how do we harness the power and time of people who spontaneously volunteer, yet they add value within the ecosystem? And I think these are kind of probably the next shift in mindset and how we should be working and accelerate towards that wider community resilience and the whole of society resilience. And I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Abubakar. I know there was a bit of technical trouble trying to get you on there, but hopefully that worked out okay. Yeah, we're part of that network call each month, and I think it's really important, especially for some, for all local authorities and LRFs to make sure they get connected that way, because making them connections and knowing what voluntary organisations that can support. There might be some that you're not aware of that are quite, got quite a lot of members in your area. So yeah, join that call if you're not already. It's really important, and I think some of the points that you raised about the spontaneous volunteers and how we manage that sort of nationally, I think that's really important. And I know Red Cross have their Red Cross reserves that you don't have to volunteer or do training every week. It's something that you can just sign up to and get onto their list, and they call to action if needed, whether that's to put leaflets to your door, to help and support. It's and that's UK wide. That's the British Red Cross reserves. Thank you very much for that, and volunteering, and it's Hidden Heroes Day today, so it's always a good part to bring in for the volunteers, and there's a whole host of others that we could spend all day talking about, the other voluntary sector organisations that support up and down the country. Joan, I now want to come to you to talk about how you feel that 30 Days has gone on in Northern Ireland. And just to sort of give a bit of a summary over there.
Hi everyone, thanks Joanne. Yeah, it's so another successful year in 2023 for our 30 days. Pardon me. Our 30 Days, 30 Ways campaign, which we also tag as Be Ready NI, so Be Ready Northern Ireland. So I suppose I just really want to probably thank our own partners across Northern Ireland who've really come in behind us this year and have cascaded the message far and wide. We also have been very much involved with our regional community resilience group and trying to get that information cascaded then across 40 different community resilience groups across Northern Ireland, and that has been the first year we've done that, so that's really worked well. I suppose today being Hidden Heroes Day, this is the first time we've actually had that specific call for the Hidden Heroes, and I think it's been really good. I think it really adds to that people-centred approach, which I suppose the whole UK resilience strategy and framework is really advocating with personal resilience, and also ensuring that we are empowering people to make informed decisions under prepare, respond and recover. So we have a 1 minute social media video being released today, and that's really outlining the work across the 40 different community groups that we work with, about how we work with them on a day-to-day basis in preparedness mode and response mode, particularly around flooding and severe weather, but also then looking at the wider, more holistic community resilience approach that we're advocating here in Northern Ireland. So really delighted to be part of it, Joanne, and really thank you for organising and managing this campaign, because it is very difficult, but I think the whole UK approach really works well, and it really does help, particularly with the national responders such as Met Office, etc. It does really widen the audience and widen the reach, and probably Storm Agnes helped this year as well to focus our minds. So yeah, really successful campaign this year, so look forward to the evaluation. Thank you.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Joan. Yeah, and I'll keep an eye out for that video this afternoon and have a watch of that. Like you said, I think there's been some major players this year. The Met Office, we had Environment Agency playing, we've had local Red Cross, local police force areas, LRFs, councils, voluntary sector. So it'd be good to actually put all those together in a report to say, how wide of spread it's got. We started off, so sort of in a bit of my closing remarks. So we started off obviously on the 1st of September, and I said that we wanted to try and encourage more of the public to watch the campaign, because this is what the campaign's for. It's for the public to learn simple things each day, to get a little bit better prepared by the end of September. We started off with knowing what risks there are in your area, and we looked at the National Risk Register. And then we looked at what risks there are, and then how you can be better prepared. We've got a good range of partner organisations that support 30 Days 30 Ways, but it was always we wanted to get more public involved. Saying that, we introduced the quiz this year, and people have been playing the quiz each day, and I think people will realise when they actually entered the quiz, it was not a hard quiz. It was just something that people could write down to say that they've taken notice of what's happened during that day, and enter their email address into the prize draw. Now, we have got prizes that have been donated by the Northamptonshire Emergency Response Corps, which is our sort of umbrella organisation for the volunteers within Northamptonshire. They are giving out Argos vouchers. So we have got a £100 Argos voucher for the first person that comes out of the pot. And then we've got 2 runner-up prizes of £50. So I've got the pot next to me. I'm going to pick them out in a minute, so it's all fair. But if I do pick out a name twice, I'm going to put it back in and try and get another one. So to be fair. So yeah, so I've put them all in the pot here. And I'm not going to read out the email address. I'll probably just read out the first name and then email that person. So, oh, crumbs. I think it's Sarah Bowen. So Sarah Bowen has won the £100 Argos card. So we've gone with Argos because you could perhaps get quite a lot of stuff for a grab bag from Argos. So the second runner-up, the first runner-up who gets a £50 voucher is Jana Taylor. So that's a £50 Argos card. And then the next one out the bag is Raven Blackwing. So that's another £50 voucher coming to you. So that's the quiz. So I'm hoping to encourage more of the public, and hopefully next year we'll do the similar as well. So that's the quiz out of the way. I just wanted to just point people to the website, 30 Days 30 Ways UK website. It's got all the information on there. You can watch the panels again on there as well, so there's links there. Also, if you go into X or Twitter, as it was, you can actually follow the master thread to Twitter, and you can go through each day if you wanted to have a catch up with what was said. But if you then, if you go into search on X and put 30 days, 30 ways in, 30 days, 30 ways UK in, it will bring up a lot of useful information from all of our partner organisations over the last month, which will make for an interesting read. Also like to say that the survey that we have, that we've been posting it near enough every day, the survey will be open till the end of October, and that's a preparedness survey to see you know, how many people have got a grab bag, how many people understand what the community risk register is. So please, for people to do that survey, and we can that will go on until the end of October. We will put together a report. However, the way X has gone, we can't pull off a lot of the statistical data. So we are looking at how we can actually do something over the next few months to see how well this year's gone. Want to say a big thank you to all the panelists for the whole month, and for you people that are on today. Thank you, Abakar. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Joan, and thank you, Tim, for joining today. And I suppose we've got one more day of 30 days tomorrow, and that will just be a big recap of the month. So thank you for joining us for this year's 30 Days, 30 Ways UK. And hopefully we'll see you again next year. Thank you very much, and see you soon.